Hey, Justin Popovic here again with you with my good friend, Mr. Brad Gosse. And this has been a long time coming, my friend. The launch of your book, The Chronic Marketer. What day is it hitting not stores, what day is it available?
420.
Of course it is. April 20th, that is, if you're watching now, it's in a couple days, Friday of this week, but April 20th, 2012, The Chronic Marketer hits distribution. You can grab a copy. And I just want to take a few minutes to get on camera here and ask the man himself a little bit about this book. I'm actually lucky enough to have known Brad for, almost 3 years now. And I've basically watched sort of firsthand as he's lived this book. And it really, like a lot of the stories that you tell in this book have actually happened while we've known each other. Obviously, some stuff happened in the past. And so for me, it's kind of different. When I read this book, it was really interesting kind of reading things on a page, having already seen somebody go through it. Whereas other people, you don't know Brad, so you're going to get it from an entirely different perspective. What I want to say, I guess, just from my own personal perspective, is I met Brad at, I guess it was the end of 2008. So 2009, we started hanging out. And I was honestly on a path of total disaster. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing as an entrepreneur. And thank God I found... I guess Brad found me.
That's
He
right.
found me. And quite honestly, this man knows so much. He has so much knowledge and information. And honestly, anything that's in this guy's head has really been extracted awesomely into this book. So Brad, this video is going on my blog. It might even be distributed on YouTube and other places. So for anybody watching, maybe just give a little intro, or what is the Chronic Marketer? What is your vision? What was the reason you put this book together?
Chronic Marketer is really just a personification of my lifestyle. I remember the first time you and I met, you brought one of your partners with you, and I remember he said something to me about how surprised he was that I smoked pot in my office.
Yeah.
And that's really who I am, and I've always kind of talked about how it's interesting how there's a lot of people who I call like high-functioning entrepreneurs. I don't think that you have to be a pot smoker to be successful by any stretch. I'm not that ridiculous, but I find it interesting that there's a lot of people who do like to smoke pot, but are also very successful in what they do. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to write a book about how I do that every day. We're here in my office, my home office right now. This is where I live and work. I spend my days down here and my evenings upstairs on the sofa, and that's kind of what the book is about, that lifestyle that I live and that a lot of people live. A lot of entrepreneurs are starting to live that kind of work from home, wake and bake lifestyle.
Now, is it true that you have to be a pothead to make this system work?
Yes. No. You don't. The pothead part of the book is fun and entertaining, but that's really all it's there for. There's a chapter in there about why I enjoy smoking marijuana over drinking, but beyond that, it's really a business entrepreneur's book. There may be some pot stories weaved in, but for the most part, it is a manual for being a high functioning entrepreneur, whether you smoke or not.
Yeah, totally. And I asked that question obviously in jest, but the real reason I wanted to ask Brad that is that I see a lot of people immediately like throw up a curtain or throw up judgments. Like even if you're not a pot smoker, if you're totally against it, I really encourage you to actually kind of let your guard down a little bit and really dive into this book, because it's when you shut things off just because if you don't like pot or if you're against it, you're going to miss out on some amazing lessons and amazing learnings here. So pot or no pot, don't worry about it. This book will be for you. If you have any interest in being successful as an entrepreneur, honestly, in my opinion, this is a must read. Now, I was just looking through some of the chapters because I read it. It's been a while, and as I was going through the chapters, I was like, oh, I remember that section. And one of the things that you write about in here, and it was one of the first things you taught me, is training people to deal with you. Now, I don't want to really spoil what's in that chapter. Maybe just touch on the whole idea of when you meet somebody or you're dealing with somebody either that you really like or that you don't like so much, how do you train them so that they deal with you or they approach you the way you want them to in the future? That's what your whole goal here is.
This is different with everybody that you deal with, but in my world, especially when you're first getting to know someone in business or in life, it's really important to set expectations and to make sure that that person understands sort of your social contract and whatever that may be. And a lot of the time when we talk about this stuff, we talk about sort of the client relationship, or you're a consultant, or you have a client, or you have somebody that you're dealing with, and maybe they have a problem that's come up. And oftentimes when you're a consultant, other people's problems become your own. And Clients might contact you like, hey, I've got this big emergency, and they make their emergency your emergency, and you kind of have to choose at that moment how you want to train those people in future to deal with you. Because if you drop everything, deal with that emergency, and don't charge any extra for it, you're not getting anything out of dealing with that emergency, then they're going to know that in the future they can come to you at the last minute and dump their problems on you. And what I've learned is that when someone comes to you and they say, hey, I'm in a jam, I need your help, I need you to do something in an emergency, well, that requires you to pay triple. I've been in situations where I've needed something done. I remember once when I had an office space and I needed an HVAC guy to come in and install a bathroom fan before the inspector was going to show up. And it had to happen that morning. And I called around all the different places and I was like, I will pay triple to whoever shows up here this morning. And sure enough, the guy came, he didn't even take triple.
Oh, really?
Right?
Interesting.
He only took the single amount, but he said to me, he's like, the fact that you were willing to pay extra meant that you were going to be a good customer, and I was willing to come out here and do it for full price, not charging you extra because I know I'll probably get subsequent business from you. But it just shows people that, hey, look, I'm in a jam, and I understand that my problem isn't your problem, and I'm willing to pay extra because of that. And that's how I expect my clients to deal with me too if they're in a jam.
That makes a lot of sense. And actually, on that note, this whole idea of training people, one thing that you've trained, I think, everybody in your life is, and you're not even going to know what I'm saying, you don't know what I'm about to say yet. You've trained all of us, myself, your friends, your clients, that we can't email you.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I know you talk about that in this book, but maybe actually, this man does not do email. And he's actually inspired me. I've just put the finishing touches on outsourcing my email, and I will admit that I keep a personal email for family and stuff like that. But how did you do that? How did you remove email from your life? Because I know for sure you must have been getting, like the rest of us, 200, 300, 400 messages a day.
I still do.
You still do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You just don't read them.
I just don't read them.
Right. So how did you pull that off?
Well, I have an assistant, Megan. Thank you, Megan. You're a rock star. And she looks after all my incoming mail, correspondence, anything that comes in, and anything that's necessary, she'll contact me over Skype and say, hey, so-and-so needs this. Can you get it to me? And I'll reply. She sort of manages my email for me, but 99% of my email does not ever need my action.
That's unbelievable.
So
and
why
I
should
that's
I
the
read
case
it?
for everybody. Honestly, when I went through the exercise, I started eliminating things before I outsourced. And I was like, man, at the end of the day, there's really not all that much here that's important. So huge lesson there, and he'll tell you exactly how you do it here. And I guess there's a few areas I want to go here. I don't want to make this interview too long. One thing that really connected with me, and so obviously we're in the same kind of business here, but you talk about the idea of selling intangibles. I love that. Selling intangibles, things that you can create and sell once or 10 times or 10,000 times, and you distribute it like that. There's no issue. There's no, there's no warehouse. There's no issues around that at all. Maybe just for people that are just maybe getting into online marketing, talk about what it takes to actually start creating intangible products and how you can scale that or even distribute it.
Yeah. So for me, if you've never heard the concept of creating intangibles, it's basically, the best analogy I can give you is like an ebook or a song on iTunes or anything that you create and then you put on the internet and you sell copies of. So it doesn't require you to deal with anything other than the odd customer service issue that happens when you're doing a lot of download products. And like Justin said, when you sell 1 or 1 million, it's roughly the same amount of work in terms of scaling. And so I like that. I don't want to be a guy who deals with logistics and trucking and warehouse employees on strike and all that other shit. That's just not my business.
Yeah.
So I create, my entire business is created around intangible products. So digital downloads for the most part. In fact, that book could have been delivered as a digital download. In fact, eventually it will be available on Kindle, but we're launching 100% on paperback. But I actually still consider that to be an intangible because I don't have to warehouse the book. So if I can create a book and upload it to Amazon and have them print and ship it every time someone orders one, then to me that's still intangible because I'm not in the fulfillment business. So anything that I can create that doesn't require me to get into the shipping and receiving process and warehousing process is considered an intangible to me.
Very cool. And I think that's, again, if you're just starting out, if you're just dabbling and thinking, wow, how cool would it be to have my own online business? Huge, it's an amazingly powerful concept here in creating intangibles. The chapter on that will give you some awesome ideas and starts. So, Brad, with that, I just want to congratulate you, man. This is awesome. I'm so pumped for you. Great book. You have to read this. Chronic Marketer, Confessions of a Half-Baked but Highly Paid Internet Marketer, Mr. Brad Gosse. Make sure you get some copies for yourself, your friends, whoever, because everybody will benefit from this. Entrepreneurs or non-entrepreneurs. Hope you get it.
Thank you.